is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said.
Welcome to the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Nestled between the Inner Harbor in Baltimore and the National Harbor just south of the nation's capital, the suburban city of Columbia offers easy access to both, where you find no shortage of activities, entertainment, and sightseeing. With a population of approximately 104,000 inhabitants, this thriving, diverse, planned community, developed by James Rouse, was established in 1967 with the goal of enhancing the lives of its residents. Columbia boasts good schools, fine restaurants, private homes, condos, and apartments, hiking trails, music venues, malls, and local shops. Founded in 1983, the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, also known as CCSL, currently conducts services at the Hawthorne Center in Columbia and has done so since December 1984. Who are we and who are we looking for? We are a collaborative, supportive, loving, and fun-loving community welcoming all who join us. We take pride in the programs we offer and the events we hold. One of our greatest needs now is to rebuild our community into a thriving spiritual home that realizes our full potential. We know that the perfect minister is awaiting our call. Our new minister is creative, collaborative, welcoming, enthusiastic, embodies inclusivity, fosters open and healthy dialogue, embraces and empowers shared leadership, and is committed to pastoral care. Our aspirations are growing our presence in the community at large, as well as within CSL, developing a broader equity and inclusion focus, increasing volunteerism, rebuilding thriving youth and teen programs, creating a community abundant in membership and resources. We also are committed to continuing and enhancing existing programs, such as the Women's Group, the Bookstore, SOM Magazine Group, SOM accredited classes, workshop offerings, free or low-cost foundation classes, and our annual volunteer event, Thanksgivingness. Welcome to the Columbia.
Good morning, my beloveds, and happy February. And so a new month begins. Can you believe it? We're already in the second month of 2023. Welcome to our Sunday celebration. My name is Julia Mattis, and I am the president of the Board of Trustees and a volunteer here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. I'm your presider today, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And for those of you on Facebook, good morning and welcome. We would greatly appreciate it if you would take a moment right now to share the live stream to bring more of us together in the energy of love and spirit. I'll pause for you to do that right now. I just did it. All you do is go to the share now and send it off into the ethers. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our vision here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living is to contribute to a world that works for everyone. We're a diverse community of belonging and growth, sharing the light and joy within ourselves while learning to see it in others. And our work here as a community is to illuminate the spiritual truth that we belong to each other. And that calls for us to be inclusive, to celebrate and embrace our unique identities such as ability status, age, ethnicity, gender identity, national origin, physical characteristics, race, religion, and sexual orientation. So if you saw the promo in the beginning of our service today, we had a call out for a minister, but before we continue our usual programming on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire community, I want to thank everyone who was able to attend our annual meeting last week. We had a terrific turnout and a marvelous review of 2022, a beautiful report and letter to the community from our beloved Dr. Nadine, and, drum roll please, we voted in a new Board of Trustees. And just in case you haven't heard, it's my honor to announce that the moment we've worked for so hard has finally arrived. And we have a new senior minister and spiritual leader here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, Rev. Rafe Ellis. And I know you're watching right now, so good morning, Rev. Rev. Rafe and his wife, Deborah, will be coming to us from CSL Sierra in California, and we couldn't be more thrilled or excited to welcome him into our community. The board is currently working on his letter of call, and we will keep you informed as we progress through this process. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. And now we return to our regularly scheduled programming. And I invite you to now set an intention for this week. Take a moment to center yourself, breathe, and allow yourself to sink into the feeling of that intention right now as you open to receive Spirit's guidance throughout our time together this morning. We have a saying here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living: singing or listening to music is like praying twice. So we begin each service with a song. And this week I'm so delighted and we are so blessed to have the amazing Leah Morris back as our musical guest. Leah is a dynamic, soulful, creative folk singer and songwriter who has been a friend of our community for many, many years, and it's so wonderful to have her back. Please help me welcome the amazing Leah Morris.
It's always a pleasure to be with you and to share music. The theme this morning reminds me of the curiosity, the openness required to listen in, to listen out, to receive the messages that are for us. And so this song, I'm sure we've sung together, I've shared with you before, so I hope it's familiar enough that you want to sing along. It's called Listening. I'm listening, I am listening, Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening, I am listening, Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open, to see what I may be. I'm listening, I am listening, Spirit, speak through me. I'm listening, I am listening, Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening, I am listening, Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open, to see what I may be. I'm silent speaks to me. I can hear the voices of all my listening to me. I'm listening to speak. We're all calling to the wind. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open to see that's what I'm free. I'm listening in this moment of silence. Speak to me.
Wow, thank you, Leah. That was brilliant. What an amazing way to kick off our service this morning. As our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, taught, in principle, the great religions of the world do not differ as much as they appear to. And that's why we take time each month, at the beginning of the month, to recognize and honor a variety of religions as sacred paths to God. I now invite licensed practitioner Reggie Kapp to lead us in our breaths of faith. Reggie?
Namaste. Let us breathe in together as we honor each faith. As we take in a nice, big, deep first breath, we honor Christianity as the path of love and forgiveness. As we take in the second breath, we honor Buddhism as the path of compassion and the Four Noble Truths. As we take in the third breath, we honor Judaism as the path of ethical living through sacred law. As we take in the fourth breath, we honor Baha'i as the path of unity and peace. As we take in the fifth breath, we honor Islam as the path of surrendering to the will of God as the highest calling. As we take in the sixth breath, we honor Confucianism as the path of deliberate tradition. As we take in the seventh breath, we honor Taoism as the path of harmony and balance. As we take in the eighth breath, we honor Native American tradition as the path that recognizes and honors spirit in all of creation. As we take in the ninth breath, we honor Hinduism as the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. As we take in the 11th breath, we honor Akan as the path that honors the divine ancestors and nature. As we take in the 12th breath, we honor our own faith, the science of mind, as the path of adherence to universal spiritual law and transformation through the commitment to our spiritual practices. And as we take in the final breath of this sacred ceremony, we invite you to hold sacred any and all faiths in all their multiplicity by knowing love as the highest power that guides them all. Namaste, and so it is.
Namaste, and so it is. Thank you, Reggie, for feeding us in sacred practice, the breaths of faith. If this is your first time experiencing the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. We want you to know that no matter who you are or whatever your spiritual path, you are welcome here. There are a variety of ways to connect and engage with our wonderful community, and we invite you to continue watching for our announcement roll at the end of service, where you will find updates on events, classes, etc. Links to all the events can be found on our newly redesigned interactive website calendar at columbiacsl.com/events, or you can always email us at info@columbiacsl.com for more information. And now, let us consciously engage in spiritual practice together. I invite you to settle in, center yourself in the moment. Take a nice deep breath and find that sacred place within where spirit is all there is. We will have a contemplative reading by Mindy Derrick, followed by a guided meditation and affirmative prayer by licensed practitioner Reggie Capp. Mindy?
Today's reading is an excerpt from an article entitled From Wonderment to Self-Realization by Swati Singh in the February 2023 Science of Mind magazine. What does nothing look like? No planets, no galaxies, just nothing, not even black. A 12-year-old me asked my grandma this question. Grandma smiled and said, I don't know, but you should never stop searching for that. 2 decades later, I realized that my tiny spark of curiosity about finding nothingness manifested into a lifelong spiritual journey. Albert Einstein said, quote, one cannot help but be in awe when he contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. Never lose a holy curiosity, unquote. Nurturing curiosity makes us open to new experiences and sharpens our minds and our potential. It is the fuel behind scientific discoveries and innovations. Creative thought, too, stems from being curious about every aspect of life. This same wonderment can help us in our spiritual journey as well. Curiosity serves the larger good of our own self. Our energies need to focus less on judging and more on finding wonderment in life's little things. The synchronicities, the working of the universe, the magic of gratefulness, the lesson of contentment, the gift of introspection. On this path of wonderment, we may find several different answers to our questions. While this might appear confusing at first, the haze lifts when we realize that the act of wonder simply implies, I don't know, allowing our mind to be free of any biases toward the answers that may follow. Don't be in a hurry to reach for answers. Let there be no answers. Let there be just wonderment. A sense of wonderment requires attention to the nature all around you. How would wonder develop if there is no time to pause and reflect? Allow life to pass by in mindful moments instead of rushing like a speeding train, watching everything disappear in a flash. Let life's little things overwhelm you. The leaves falling in autumn, the pebble making ripples in the water, the birds singing in spring, the bees falling asleep inside the flower, the patterns of the stars, the phases of the moon. All these things can spark wonder if you allow yourself to witness the moment fully, without any distractions, and merge with it. Please join me in today's affirmation. I reconnect with the sense of wonder and curiosity I had as a child, seeing everything as novel and exciting. May I find hidden wonders every day. And so it is.
And so it is. Let's turn within. Let's reconnect with our own sense of wonder and curiosity. Remember that each moment is filled with great potential and new opportunities. I invite you to take a few slow, deep breaths. Follow the air through your nostrils, down into your lungs. This air that is bringing life-sustaining oxygen to your blood and to your entire body temple. All that is no longer needed now is ready to be exhaled. Life is so cool. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. As you turn more deeply inward, begin to let go of anything around you, any noise, any distraction, and simply be. Be one with the breath. Don't try to control your breath in any way. Simply relax and breathe. In this moment, let's be curious. Ask yourself, what does life have in store for me today? Be open to receive. It's that simple. It may not be easy, but it's that simple. Inhale. Exhale. Ask yourself, how can I serve others while serving myself today? It may be a smile, a kind word, a chore that you do unexpectedly that helps someone else. How can I serve others while I serve myself today? As you exhale, you're letting go of things that no longer serve you. So let go of judgment. Allow discernment and curiosity instead. Practice. We have to practice letting go of judgment. And instead, we can practice being curious and being in awe of life. For life surely is awe-inspiring. Please know with me that there is only one. It's the power of love that is absolutely everywhere present and everywhere active. It is infinite and eternal. It always has been and always will be. I call this love spirit, or universal intelligence, or God. Whatever name I give it, it's not enough. I can't fully encompass what this thing is, but I know that it is the essence of life. It is the source of all there is. This power that creates worlds creates each one of us, each one a divine expression of love, of power, of energy, of life. And so what I know is if we each are part of this thing, we are all connected. And so from this place of connectedness, I speak this word. I know that this community is absolutely blessed and is a blessing. We are on the precipice of something greater than we could ever imagine. And I am so grateful to know that. I know that today's Sunday celebration is absolutely amazing, uplifting, inspiring, awe-inspiring. And so I give great gratitude for the speaker, Rebecca, for the reader, Mindy, for the musician, Leah, for Julia and Don, and everybody that had a hand in making this service possible today, including everyone who is inviting their own energy into this celebration. And so in gratitude, I simply let this word go. I know that the universe has our back. We are supported and loved always and in all ways. And so I simply release. I relax. I let go. I let God. And knowing that this word is the word of God, I give great thanks and allow it to be so. And so it is.
Wow. Wow. And so it is. Wow. Thank you, Mindy, for that amazing reading. And thank you, Reggie, for that beautiful time of spiritual practice. Wow. What does life have in store for me today? How powerful is that? Wow. Whew. In this community, our practitioners and ministers are eager to know the truth with you and for you. Feel free to email your request for prayer or counseling to prayer@columbiacsl.com, and we will hold your truth in prayer throughout the week. And now, please help me welcome back our amazing guest musician today, Leah Morris.
There is no roadmap for these times, but if you want to please your mind, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. There is no roadmap for these days, but if you want to find some grace, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. I know your heart is crying please, but if you want to find some peace, you gotta look inside. Go on and look inside. You're searching through the stars above, but you got all you need, that is love. You gotta look inside. Go on and look inside. Everything that my heart needs is here right now. Everything that my heart needs is inside. Everything that my heart needs is here right now. Everything that my heart needs is inside. There is no roadmap for these times, but if you want to ease your mind, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. There is no roadmap for these days, but if you want to find some grace, you gotta look inside. You gotta look inside. Go on and look inside. You gotta look inside. You gotta look inside.
Wow, what a great song. What a brilliant talent Leah is. Thank you for sharing your amazing gifts with us. And now it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, continuing this month's theme, or the new theme that we have this month, which is Curiosity is My Superpower. with our very own licensed practitioner, Rebecca Beall, with her talk, Curioser and Curioser. Rebecca?
Oh, good morning, my people. How are you? I'm so happy to be here this morning. What a genius song that Leah Morris's genius, talking about like looking inside. That's really where all the answers are, aren't there? And Reggie, what a beautiful, beautiful meditation, talking about being in the present moment with our breath. That's where life is, right? So as I was contemplating the idea of curiosity and that spiritual imperative to be curious, I came across a couple things, but I also was thinking about how being curious allows and encourages faith. And in the unknown, being able to take the step even though I don't know where the path is going. So as I was preparing for this talk, I came across this writing from Ernest Holmes' book, This Thing Called You. It just took my breath away. Seek to make your work a prayer, your believing an act, your living an art. It is then that the object of your faith will be made visible to you. It is then that you shall kiss the lips of your desire. What would it be like if we were to make work a prayer? Not the 9 to 5. I'm talking about the work of life, the entirety of our living each day. What if every act of this thing called me was a testimony to believing? What is it to live life as an art? As we talked about our new minister, a little concerned my dog is going to make a lot of noise, so yikes, she wasn't behaving very well. But hopefully she'll be nice and quiet for us, but she's here with us too. When our new minister came a couple weeks ago to visit, I got to take him on a tour of Columbia because y'all know that I really, really love this place. And as we were in the car, we were talking about living our lives as showing God a good time. Right, Rafe? You remember that? Isn't that totally fabulous? So let's be curious about that. What does it mean to show God a good time? And what if all of life really is about kissing the lips of our desires? Curious? Well, let's explore. We science of mind folks, we're a cerebral group. Give me a good think any day. And I think my thinking and reasoning skills are pretty outstanding, as I imagine most of us think ours are too. But I believe that that's not really all we're here to do, live in and through our conscious and unconscious thoughts. Have you ever heard that quote attributed to lots of people, from Christiane Northrup to Mike Tyson, about the mind being a dangerous place and don't go in there alone? Anyone have any of those experiences where rumination takes you nowhere and nowhere quickly? I do. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Well, let's look at how easily it is to manipulate that part of our mind. So let's do an experiment. I'd like you to take a moment and center yourself and think about a polar bear. Get a really good picture of that polar bear with its white fur, moving around on an iceberg. Maybe it's got some babies around. Maybe it's just lounging out like those pictures that we see sometimes of polar bears. You got it? Okay, relish in that for a moment. Take a nice deep breath and come back with me. Okay, how many of you took that suggestion? I know I even saw a polar bear in my mind too. Okay, well, let's try that again. I invite you to go inside and center yourself. Feel your breath. And I invite you to think of anything in the world except a polar bear. Now, how is that? come on back. I imagine if you're like me, all you could think about was a polar bear. So let's go back to our question about showing God a good time. That is not really it, is it? That working of just the thinking mind. It takes work to stay focused on something, and it's really, really hard. And it often doesn't even work, as we saw with our not thinking about a polar bear. Oh, that changing mind. So what do we have with us so that we don't go in there alone? If you know me or spent any time in conversation with me, you know I spend a lot of time thinking about the definitions of words and how we use words to mean many, 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 many different things. Our philosophy is called the science of mind. But in our culture, we use mind as a synonym for thinking, for brain, for cognition. We just proved that the thinking mind is very creative for sure. We could all think of a polar bear, but it's also quite susceptible to suggestion. The creative mind must be thinking, but it's also so much more. We have these individualized bodies full of feelings and sensations, which are also part of the mind in science of mind. So I want to circle back to that curiosity, that spiritual imperative of showing God a good time, and especially kissing the lips of desire. Are we showing God a good time? What if we decided that that was our raison d'etre, our reason for being? What if we took the notion that desire is magnificent and the spark of all creativity? After all is God. So those desires that bubble up are God. I love how Holmes talks about kissing the lips of desire because it's so physical. It's so important to remember, to internalize, and to know that it is the body, this being, that is the individualized God, Godding in this lifetime. We have these divine bodies with all the sensations, and we have the experience of faith. Then it is with the confidence that we know God is expressing in me, as me, and the God is me. You know, all of that is true, and we are experiencing a world with a lot going on. I do often talk about that. That is just the truth as well. There is so much going on at any given moment. We're living in a world with deep, deep divides. Many of us continue to look around with confusion, fear, and exasperation. The violence we hear about every day is absolutely shocking, and sometimes it becomes numbing because it's just so much. We're living in a time where human rights are being legislated away, where we don't have enough room for the actual garbage that we create, and oftentimes we see despair everywhere. Just like the polar bear example, our thinking minds can get into a thought loop, thinking and worrying about these same things over and over and over. This isn't really God having a good time, is it? Except that it kind of is. Because God isn't a person. You know, we're socialized in this culture for thousands of years to think of God as a deity, a being up there. But God isn't a divine being. God is a divine process. God is an energy. God is a power, and we can use it for good. We know this. We say this all the time, but do we really believe it? Here's another fabulous quote that I love. Out there in the vast reaches of outer space, and here in the equally vast reaches of our inner space, everything is in order. Our task is to begin to understand that the universal mind is resident everywhere, and also of necessity within us. Our prayer is that the truth be made known, that it cannot fail to be revealed. So I want to just do a little thought experiment with us and take a desire and a prayer of my own. I have a deep down desire for love. I desire to feel love, to express love, to receive love. I can think I am love and believe it until I turn on the news or until I read the newspaper. Or, my personal favorite doom scrolling pit of doom is Twitter. I can get lost in that Twitterverse. And all of a sudden, I've white polar beared myself into thinking of a world as a scary place, and myself, and you all too, as pawns in this existential battle going on somewhere in heaven and hell. And whatever understanding I have of myself as divine is poof, it's just evaporated. And then I start looking for all the evidence all over the place that love is lacking. I hope I'm the only one who does this and not everybody else, but my hunch is that this is pretty common. That person, they had a tone in their voice when they talked to me. They must not love me anymore. I made a mistake at work. Oh my God, I'm a totally unworthy jerk. There's disease, disorder. There's this giant balloon flying over the United States, or I guess not really anymore. Fear, fear, fear. But if I take that desire for love and seek to make it my prayer, then I take that word, that desire of love, and I feel it. I feel it in my body. This is when Reggie was talking about that breath, taking that breath, this moment. Our breath connects us to this moment. So in this moment, I can feel love in my body. I begin to notice the sensations. And this is paying attention to our bodies. My heart feels a little fluttery. My shoulders relax. I may feel a giddy feeling in my stomach. The ever-present now is where we experience. It is where God is experiencing itself as God. And I get it. This is a huge mind trip. We are very socialized to think about the past and the future, and it's hard to stay right here. It's a mind trip for sure. But stay with me. This is where the creation and the creative impulse is. This is where God is. If I desire love, and I've taken that time in meditation and contemplation to feel what love feels like, when I notice in my life that I'm not feeling love or experiencing love, I can take things back, and I can do things that take me back to those experiences of love. Here are some of my spiritual practices. So I put on music that I love and move my body maybe, or the spiritual practice of singing. I don't know if anybody else is a in the car singer like me, but boy, is that a beautiful spiritual practice for me. I can do something that just physically feels good, whether it's exercise or whether, just doing something in my body that feels good. I touch my hair or rub my hands, and it gets me centered back into my body and reminds me, oh, that sensation of love is what it is. That is where I want to be living from. And those kinds of sensations, those physical actions, can interrupt those perseverating thoughts. I can call a friend. I can have a practitioner session. I can do anonymous acts of good. I can tell people I love them. I can pray. So as I'm going through my life, nurturing the desire for love and noticing the sensations of love, and then, and this is key too, appreciating any little signs of love. And then all of a sudden, a jerk cuts me off in traffic, or I hear bad news, or I have a hard day at work. These things don't totally derail me. It's then that I begin to discover that it actually is possible to experience both great love and being in the moment, moving through things that are more difficult. That is true. It's not duality. It's a yes and. Yes and. And then gratitude and reflection, they become natural outpourings of life. which makes the real expectation of love in my life even stronger. And this is living in prayer and living as prayer. And it's from that stance that we are showing God a good time, no matter what the conditions are. I'm going to say that again because that's really important. It is from that stance that we're showing God a good time, no matter what the conditions are in our lives or outside of us. And quite honestly, it's from that stance from which we can change the conditions of our world for good. That's what there is. There is a power in this universe, and we can use it for good. That's how you do it. So seek to make your work a prayer, your believing an act, your living an art. It is then that the object of your faith will be made visible to you. It is then that you shall kiss the lips of your desire. Let's know that we breathe in and out in this moment that we have, this moment in time. I will invite you to join me in this desire, in this prayer for love. Knowing that God is all there is. And we are one with that God. And I know love. I don't just know it in my mind, in my thinking mind. I'm taking a moment right here and right now to experience the sensations in my body of love. Ask yourself what you're noticing, because that is God. And it is from this operation of God that great gratitude comes. That perception of life as good comes. And we release this because it can only be good with great things. This is a divine community on a journey of even further development into life and love and gratitude and joy and making a bigger footprint, so to speak, on our communities. What an exciting time to be here, and what an exciting time to hold on to that idea of curiosity. What is next? And what is next can only be good, better, best, because it's coming from the soil of absolute love. It is with great love and great joy and peace that I say to you, and so it is.
Wow. Okay, just wow. And so it is. That was absolutely amazing, Rebecca. Thank you for that inspiring message and inspiring talk. I am going to have to go back and listen to this again because there were just so many nuggets between Mindy's reading and Reggie's practice and Rebecca's talk. Living in prayer as prayer. God is a divine process. And of course, my favorite for today, showing God a good time. Wow. Powerful, powerful. Thank you all. Whew. And please join us next week for another powerful talk from another powerful practitioner in our community, Io McClenny. We will be live at the Hawthorne Center next week. But as always, if you're unable to make it or join us, it will also be live streamed. And she continues our talk next week on Curiosity is My Superpower with her talk title, Inquiring Minds Want to Flow. And of course, our guest musician is our one and only beloved, talented, and amazing Felicia Taylor. So please, please, please don't forget to join us next week. And as if there isn't enough already, it's my pleasure to once again bring back the amazing and talented Leah Morris, One More for the Soul.
Love, will you guide my feet? Love, would you light my path? Love, lead the way. Love, will you fill my needs? Love, will you do the math? Love, lead the way. 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 And I will walk. And I will walk with trust today. With trust today. In all I do. In all I do. In all I say. In all I say. I will follow. Love, lead the way. When I don't know what I'm doing, when nothing feels okay, love, lead the way. When everything seems broken and I'm holding here at bay, love, lead the way. 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 And I will walk. And I will walk with trust today. With trust today. In all I do. In all I do. In all I say. In all I say. I will follow. Love, lead the way.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I hope I speak for everyone when I say, wasn't that incredibly cool? Wow. Thank you, Leah, for that fabulous song. We so appreciate your gifts and talents. And be sure to check out Leah's website at This Is Leah, and that's L-E-A, thisisleah.com, to learn more about her, as Rebecca says, her genius music and her other creative endeavors. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Leah. That was awesome. Oh my, boy, oh boy, we have just received, and now we can consciously give back. I invite you to take a moment and to invoke those feelings of love and gratitude and abundance that Rebecca so beautifully spoke of. Oh, and allow them to fill you and the space around you. Let's use the power of our word by speaking our prosperity affirmation together. I'm going to be listening. I know that the infinite abundance of the universe is blessing and expanding our offering for the good of all. And so it is. We offer easy ways to donate your offering. You can make a one-time or reoccurring donation through our website at www.columbiacsl.com and push the donate tab, or you can text your donation to us at 410-498-6175, and the delightful Dawn has put that number on the screen there for you, so if you want to write it down, send us a gift, that would be awesome. And we know that as we give, we also receive, and we do so with great gratitude. That's the law of circulation, and that's how it works. Please join me as we once again bless every gift bestowed upon the Columbia CSL. All right, together we receive these gifts, knowing that they nurture and support our vision of contributing to a world that works for everyone. And so it is. Oh, we appreciate every contribution. Your support ensures that we remain a vital and thriving center that will support and nourish everyone's spiritual growth. On behalf of our entire community, I just want to thank you all for being a part of our spiritual family today. We look forward to seeing you again next week in person. At the end of our service, remember to stay on for our announcement slides so that you can keep informed with everything that's coming up. And just one quick reminder, this Tuesday night, we have the women's group meeting virtually at 9 p.m. You can find the link to sign up for the women's group meeting and all the links for everything exciting going on in our community. Also in our newsletter that we send out, at our website at columbiacsl.com, and then just click on the calendar. And if you're not getting our newsletter, you can also sign up for it at the same place. And now it is my absolute divine pleasure to once again bring back Rebecca to close our service with an affirmation for the week. Rebecca?
Thank you. So I am sitting here with my dog, which is God spelled backwards, just reveling in love and the moment. So let us seek to endeavor in all ways to show God a good time, remembering that it means feeling it inside. Have a marvelous week. Mwah. And so it is.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest